Welcome back to my channel Dinar and Dong Updates. Shocking Chase Bank. Leak sparks. Global buzz among Dinar and Dong investors. In a development that's sending shockwaves through private investment groups, RV, revaluation communities, and foreign currency holders worldwide. A confidential leak from one of America's financial titans, Chase Bank, has captured the spotlight. This isn't just another internet rumor or baseless speculation. The implications could be historic. A document allegedly originating from Chase's internal systems has emerged, pointing to a potential revaluation of the Iraqi Dinar, IQD, with a speculative test rate that could reshape countless lives. Imagine the consequences if it proves true. In a financial world where seismic changes often occur quietly behind closed doors, occasionally something leaks into public view that changes everything. Today might be one of those moments. The mysterious Chase Bank leak. A rate that could change everything. Reports indicate that an internal Chase Bank foreign currency exchange document has somehow entered the public sphere. According to initial sources, the document references a test rate of $8.72 per Iraqi dinar, a figure no one expected to see until far down the line, after Iraq achieved full economic and political stability. At this point, Chase Bank has neither confirmed nor denied the authenticity of the document. However, early investigations, analyzing metadata, cross-referencing with previous verified leaks, and insider chatter, suggest the document carries familiar hallmarks seen in other genuine RV-related bank activities in past years. Skepticism is natural and healthy, but the excitement rippling through communities of currency holders is undeniable. If true, this development could validate years of hope and patience from those who believed in the dinar's potential for revaluation. How the leak happened. According to insider sources, the leaked material reportedly came from an employee within Chase's foreign currency compliance department, a highly sensitive sector of the bank dealing with global settlements and foreign exchange risk management. The individual, reportedly possessing Tier 3 security clearance, captured a screenshot of the internal exchange rate dashboard shortly before the New York foreign exchange markets opened, a critical period when banks conduct internal liquidity tests. Interestingly, the leaked dashboard did not display the dinar in isolation. Instead, it showed the dinar listed alongside major world currencies like the euro, Japanese yen, and British pound, further suggesting it was part of a live system test and not simply a fabricated document. Moreover, metadata associated with the image corroborated the timing, mere minutes before the NY Forex markets went live. A strategic moment banks often choose for internal stress testing and rate simulations. The intentionality behind such timing implies this wasn't an accidental keystroke or isolated test. It points to coordinated institutional readiness, suggesting that something bigger may be looming behind the scenes. Why would Chase Bank test a $8.75 dinar rate? To understand the broader context, one must look at the steady economic progress Iraq has made over the past decade. Despite years of turbulence, Iraq has undergone substantial financial and political reforms, bolstered under close international supervision. Highlights include over $160 billion in foreign currency reserves held by Iraq's central bank, a signal of fiscal strength. Digitization of Iraq's financial infrastructure, reducing corruption and improving transparency. Strategic oil trade agreements with BRICS nations, diversifying Iraq's international partnerships. Critical monetary reform milestones signed off by the International Monetary Fund, IMF. In short, Iraq's economic foundation appears significantly stronger today than in previous decades. Therefore, banks conducting internal simulations at higher IQD rates isn't as far-fetched as it might have once seemed. Institutions like Chase are in the business of risk management. They prepare for every conceivable scenario, especially those tied to major foreign exchange events. Potential financial impact. What an 8.75 IQD rate could mean. Let's break down the magnitude. For a holder of 100,000 Iraqi dinars, a relatively common amount among retail investors, the current black market value might hover below $100. If the speculative rate of $8.72 became reality, that same 100,000 IQD could suddenly be worth $872,000. Even if the final public rate adjusts slightly downward from $8.72, the returns could still be life-changing. However, with extraordinary gain comes extraordinary responsibility. Tax implications. Substantial capital gains could trigger significant tax liabilities. Wealth management. Protecting newfound wealth requires professional guidance, including asset diversification, legal considerations, ensuring that currency exchanges and financial moves are fully compliant with federal and state laws. Sudden wealth often becomes a double-edged sword for the unprepared. Proper planning is crucial to preserve and grow what could be once-in-a-lifetime gains. Other currencies mentioned: Vietnamese dong and Iranian rial. The leaked document reportedly didn't stop at the IQD. Sources claim the internal Chase platform also referenced the Vietnamese dong, VND, at a jaw-dropping internal test rate of $347 per VND. The Iranian rial, though details around its rate were less clear. The Vietnamese dong, long rumored to be undervalued, especially considering Vietnam's economic growth, has been a favorite among speculative currency investors. However, a $347 rate, if even remotely accurate, would exceed even the most optimistic forecasts. Such numbers seem almost unbelievable, and caution is warranted. Yet the very presence of these rates in an internal banking system hints at preparations for multiple currency events, not just Iraq's. Banking platform behaviors, signs of behind-the-scenes activity. Following the leak's emergence, RV-focused groups began documenting unusual behaviors from major banks. Temporary removal of the IQD and VND from foreign exchange lists. Glitches during login attempts to currency trading platforms. Scheduled maintenance windows coinciding with international FX market open-close times. These behaviors have historically preceded significant banking events, especially when systems undergo software updates or are stress-tested for heavy liquidity inflows. While not definitive proof of imminent RV activation, these signs contribute to the growing sense that the financial system is preparing for something major. How big banks prepare for currency shifts. Behind closed doors, major institutions like Chase, Wells Fargo, and HSBC use highly secure platforms such as SWIFT GPI systems, global payment innovation systems for real-time cross-border transfers, internal FX dashboards for monitoring live rates and simulating liquidity surges, redemption simulations, mock customer rushes to predict and control chaos when real rates go live. Massive internal rehearsals and system hardening efforts ensure that when currency revaluations happen, banks can process huge volumes of transactions without outages or panic. This level of preparation, if happening now, suggests the banks are taking the possibility of revaluations seriously. What should currency holders be doing right now? With so much speculation swirling, what's the wisest course of action? Here are some critical recommendations. Stay grounded. Don't react emotionally to unverified information. Protect physical assets. Secure all physical Iraqi dinar and Vietnamese dong notes, along with original purchase receipts. Avoid scams. Ignore unsolicited offers, private redemption deals, or too good to be true promises. Seek professional advice. Consult with licensed CPAs and wealth management professionals specializing in high-value currency transactions. Monitor reliable sources. Follow updates from the Central Bank of Iraq, CBI, IMF reports, and U.S. Treasury bulletins. Prepare for taxes. High-value gains could place you in elevated tax brackets. Pre-plan strategies with tax professionals now. Remember, smart preparation today can prevent costly mistakes tomorrow. The bigger picture, more than just money. Beyond the immediate financial excitement, there's a deeper narrative unfolding. For years, the mainstream media and financial experts often labeled the dinar community as naive or delusional. Skeptics pointed to Iraq's instability and complex politics as insurmountable obstacles to revaluation. Today, however, we see signs that major global institutions have quietly prepared for just such a possibility. If these leaks are validated, it would represent not only the creation of substantial wealth, but also a powerful vindication for early believers who endured years of skepticism. More broadly, a successful dinar revaluation would symbolize a shift toward economic equity, with once war-torn and marginalized nations regaining power and relevance on the world stage. The idea that smaller, emerging economies could reclaim rightful strength in global trade circles has profound political and financial implications. Are we witnessing history in the making? It's still too early for definitive conclusions. No official public announcements have been made by Chase, the U.S. Treasury, or Iraq's central bank. However, the signs, leaks, bank behaviors, growing insider chatter, strongly suggest that we are on the brink of a significant monetary event. Whether or not the $8.75 IQD rate or 347 Vietnamese dong rate becomes reality, one thing is clear: the landscape is shifting. And for those who have been patient, disciplined, and prepared, the coming months could present life-altering opportunities.